Hi there, this is Stephen with Karma Astrology, and I was just coming to you live again for my daily moon forecast. I do these daily forecasts as the moon moves around the nakshatras of the zodiac, the 27 Indian constellations, which overlay the 12 Western Indian constellations that we're all pretty familiar with in the zodiac. Excuse me. So I do these live videos just so that people can come and ask me questions or, interact, and I can give you a daily update of what's going on in the sky and what are the favorable and unfavorable activities to do on a day like today, and what's kind of the general energy behind a day on each of these days as the moon moves through one nakshatra roughly every single day of the month. So that brings me to today. Basically, it's going to be in about 30 minutes that the moon moves into Shatabisha nakshatra. Now, if you look, see if I can do it right this time, over here at Aquarius, you see that MO is the turquoise. In turquoise is the moon. MO is moon, of course. And it's in Aquarius, the sign of Aquarius. It's next to Jupiter and Neptune. And you can see that it's about, it'll enter at 6 degrees and 40 minutes, which is the start of Shatabisha, which is in about 30 minutes from now. But if you're watching this recording, then it's probably already active. So today, basically, Shatabisha energy is this energy of healing. There's a lot of deep, dark, secret aspects to this nakshatra in general, but Shata means 100, and then Bishaj means healers or cures. So it's 100 healers or 100 cures, and that kind of connects us with the primordial energy that's coming from this part of the sky, which is really about having the intelligence to be able to find a cure to your ailment, to your problem, and usually that's a deep karmic problem. So that's why it takes kind of 100 physicians or 100 healers to get to the right one or to the core of the problem, the solution, because it's oftentimes deeper than just the physical, as our physical problems tend to come from the most subtle aspects of ourself, which is more in the spiritual realm, and then more into the gross aspects as they kind of manifest in our thoughts and emotions, and finally into our bodies. And so we feel them sometimes when they get into our bodies if we're kind of asleep to the issue that we have. And on a day like today, that issue should be coming to a head, or we should be maybe finding the solution finally for the issue that we've had for a while. So it's a good day to find cures and think about healing and different ailments and whatever you can do to kind of alleviate some of your chronic symptoms or issues. Um, it is ruled or connected with the god called Varuna. Now, Varuna was kind of the ancient king of the gods in the Vedas, in the Rig Veda, and then eventually he kind of became the king of the underworld. And so he's always been associated with kind of the universal, kind of omnipresent, omnipotent consciousness and knowledge, and all of this kind of accrued wisdom of being able to tap into, his true self, or, spirit or consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it. So on a day like today, we're a little more wise, and we might be focused more on educating ourselves or learning new things, especially things when it comes to things that are hidden, like that underworld aspect of Varuna. It could be occult sciences like astrology, or even, astronomy used to be occulted back in the day. But any sort of, and Varuna, that astronomy and astrology kind of bring me to another aspect of Varuna, is that he was the god, or known as the god, of the night sky. So just, on a day like today, we might be more drawn to stargazing or watching a video like this, or a few astrology videos or astronomy videos. And it's actually very much tied to Western society and science, and this kind of scientific method and approach to life that we follow primarily in the cultural norms of the West. Shatabisha Nakshatra, this section of the sky today, is definitely associated with Western culture because of the progressive, you know, truly liberal or revolutionary forces of the Western world, and how that kind of evolved and is a very I guess technologically oriented and forward thinking and all in all a very progressive way of looking at the world and trying to make positive changes rather than stick to maybe the rigid dogmas or any sort of dogma or you know traditional customs of the past that have kind of served humanity in different ways. Western culture is like, what's new? What can bring me something different that I can enjoy and make my life a little more easy? And that kind of brings us to Aquarius in general. Now, Shatabisha is the very center of Aquarius, so it has kind of that core energy, as you can tell if you know anything about Aquarius. Aquarius is oftentimes associated with science and culture and society and just these big picture ideas. Aquarius is an air sign, despite the name, which would make you think it's a water sign, but it's really an air sign, and it's a fixed air sign, so it's about staying kind of fixed in the world of mental thought and energy. So being able to conceptualize things. I watched a documentary yesterday, or I heard a lecture about Nikola Tesla, and Nikola Tesla was very much an Aquarian type of person who was creating inventions and thinking about all these scientific uh, you know imaginations or whatever you want to call it, machinations of his imagination. There's things that he created in his mind that he was able to maybe potentially help society with. He created radio. And so radio is actually associated, and all sorts of technological advancements are very much associated with Shatabisha and Aquarius. And so today is like is a really good day to think about tech, to learn about it, maybe do read some articles from scientific journals or something that intrigues you about uh, kind of pop science, but it doesn't even have to be pop science, just cutting edge in a way. So you could, maybe you want to read more about, since it's Shatabisha, there's a lot of healing and this scientific advancement in medicine in particular. So you might want to read a medical journal today, or something that intrigues you. Maybe just as an article, or watch a TV show that talks about I don't know, CSI stuff. So there's a lot of different things that are auspicious and inauspicious to do on a day like today. Um, I'll just tell you the symbol for Shatabisha is the empty circle. So, or kind of like a ring. And that's to symbolize the fact that this kind of intelligence allows us to be more independent and free thinking, while at the same time there's some sort of elusiveness or secretiveness to Shatabisha. That kind of empty circle symbolizes the veil that we might hide behind. And Shatabisha for sure has a lot to do with hiding things, hiding our true motives and intentions. On more of the dark side, it can be um, any sort of conspiring or things that um, maybe aren't the nicest things to do in the world. But Shatabisha is really good at them because we can think and talk to maybe our secret groups in society that connect us. I don't know if you're a part of one. I'm certainly not. But yeah, that's Shatabisha is definitely associated with secret societies in a way. Let's see, it's called the Veiling Star for that reason. And I wanted to talk about the favorable activities. Well, in general, it's a nice day to just focus on your independence and doing things for yourself, on expanding your awareness and your perception, because our perception is a little more just expanded naturally on a day like today. It's a good day um, to think about justice. There's a sense of social justice that's connected with this nakshatra, and as well as concealing, it's almost like we are uh, we definitely have to be in making sure that we're doing good and doing righteous activities in secret rather than necessarily trying to hurt people or uh, create some sort of obfuscation. In terms of the weak shadow side, you know, this nakshatra can make us prone to loneliness on a day like today. So I guess try and focus on more positive things. Try and focus on expanding your awareness and learning things rather than kind of getting a little too introverted and turning in on yourself a little bit. Don't. It's an easy day to fall to victimization, and so we don't want to obviously have that kind of mindset. So it's good to catch yourself if you have any sort of uh, victim victimized or victimization tendencies, and kind of nip that in the bud. It's a great day for cleaning the house and being fastidious, for dotting your I's and crossing your T's, for writing, for communicating. It's good for, let's see, yeah, it's good for traveling. It's also really good for anything related to water because Varuna is actually associated with water, and there's your Aquarius. So yeah, it's a good day to go boating or go to a river or a creek or the ocean, whatever you have available near you, or do a rain dance or whatever you got to do here in Santa Fe. We don't get much water around here, so I'm probably gonna do a rain dance tonight. Um, but otherwise, it's not a great day for kind of dealing with marital issues or partnership issues or relationship concerns. Best to leave that for another day because today tends to lend itself more towards arguments and harsh speech and a little bit more kind of spite in a way. So it's definitely hard to kind of keep that. It's good to keep that out of your relationships in general and choose to work on your issues in your relationship at a different day than today. And let me just show you. Let's go over to the sky map so that you can see what it looks like. I'll just show you where the moon is today currently. All right. I'm going to get rid of my picture. There we go. So you can see the moon is right in Aquarius. It's a little hard to see because it's in the sky with the sun. It's very close to the new moon. That's going to be in Pisces and in a couple days. But yeah, you can see that the moon is up there and in the middle of Aquarius, and the stars that are represented by this nakshatra. Oh, there, it just changed on me. But the stars that are represented by this nakshatra are everything in this Aquarius region of the sky, all the way. It's called 100 healers because there's 100 stars roughly in this nakshatra. So there's so much going on between Fomalhaut, which is in Pisces Austrinus, which a weird one to say, and then all the stars of Aquarius, and so this whole region of the sky is considered to be this nakshatra. And I think that's about it for the moon in terms of other planets. We're about to have a few planets move into, let me get back to the chart. There we go. All right. And so if you see, you can see that the sun is getting to the very end of Pisces, or it's getting closer to the end. We're going to have that new moon in the end of Pisces in a few days. And then it's going to enter Aries for a full new kind of astrological year in terms of going around from the beginning of the cycle to the end, and Pisces being the natural 12th sign, Aries being the first sign of the zodiac in general. So we're going from this watery energy into the fiery energy there, and then which is kind of, an exciting time for creating new things, while right now we're kind of letting things go. Until this new moon happens, and during this new moon, we're kind of focusing on letting go and surrendering and just kind of being one with, God and consciousness and the universe and the world around us and internally, and just kind of letting that internal expansion grow, and our perception of things in other states of consciousness, like the dream state. Your dreams are probably more intense these days, the last few days with all this Piscean energy. But that's going to eventually shift into Aries energy, where we're going to look to make progress and start a new cycle, start something really fresh and new and exciting in your life. Kind of that springtime energy, as it is here in the Northern Hemisphere. And then you can see that Mars is right up here is about 26 degrees or so, 26 and a half degrees, and that'll be entering Gemini in a little bit. So that's kind of going from this earthy Taurus, stable, grounded energy into this airy, very moving, uh, movement oriented, mentally focused energy where Mars comes in and wants to kind of attack things in the mental realm and courageously stand up for, exploring new ideas and getting really, it's kind of an engineering combination where we're excited to study new things and to take on new challenges, and especially in the mental realm. So there's going to be a lot of this air and fire coming together, and then Jupiter, as I've been talking about a little recently. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so Jupiter is that orange JU in Aquarius, and that just entered Aquarius the other day. So that also adds to this air energy. And Jupiter is kind of a fiery planet as well. So it tends to bring to us, we're really, what I'm trying to say is that we're leaving the elements of earth and water that we've really been kind of, balanced and held down and kind of grounded in recently, and we're moving more into the air and fire parts of the zodiac just by chance. These three different things, and Venus will be moving in as well, but going into fire and air signs. So there's a lot more energy, there's a lot more excitement. If you think about air and fire, they're moving very quickly. Fire is kind of that purification of air, so there's going to be a lot of ideas and excited communication, maybe arguments, things that were, you know, basically just jumping into thinking about, getting really passionate about. Those are the kind of air and fire qualities, and so you'll see this kind of activation of our energy in the next week or so, once everything starts really moving into those air and fire signs out of the earth and water. So that's going to do it for my forecast today. I hope you got a lot out of this, and join me daily. I'm going to try and keep doing these daily, and hopefully people want to come in, and if you want to ask a question, that's cool. Otherwise, leave me a thumbs up. Give me a comment, if you want to see anything in particular or hear about anything, let me know. In general, otherwise subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and I'll